Hey everybody, thank you for joining us on the TWNRGY Podcast.
Thank you very much.
What? I just wanted to give you guys some tips on where to find us. The main thing, well, obviously you found us if you're watching this, but...
you found us, thank you. We were lost for a little while.
Search, first one is YouTube. Go on YouTube and search TWNRGY, TWNRGY. And also do the same thing on Facebook, search TWNRGY. And then also we have a Patreon account. Or first off, we have an Instagram account. Do it for the gram, y'all. Gram it up. Grammy season's coming up. Yeah, folks. Get those grams.
Award-winning.
Likes, comments, whatever. But yeah, search for us on Instagram. Search TWNRGY. And then also, Patreon. We have a Patreon account. That website is www.patreon. And it'll be /TWNRGY. And on Patreon, you'll be able to see our videos, and you'll have an opportunity to contribute if you'd like, whether it's monthly or a one-time contribution. There is expenses that are factored into this, whether it's posting and other things of that sort. But if not, feel free to continue to watch us for free and enjoy the material that we put out. And Adam has some other information in regards to how you can find us.
All right. The other things you could do to find a place to, say, listen to us on is go on Apple iTunes, go on that search bar, type in TWNRGY, TWNRGY, and then our podcast will pop up. Also, the same for Spotify. Just type in our TWNRGY name. It'll come up. And then go on Stitcher. It'll come up and you'll find us. And you could download an app for Stitcher and Spotify on your phone. This way it makes it easy. You get there, you're on the go.
Yeah, if you have Apple, it's already on the phone, I believe.
Yeah, you already have the Apple iTunes app on there. So, yeah, Apple, you have Android.
Whatever
you have,
what your
download
affiliation, just
whatever site you find yourself on. Download Stitcher or Spotify app. Type in TWNRGY and you'll find us.
And once you do find us on YouTube, if you could subscribe, that'd be amazing. It's just as good as contributing financially sometimes.
You can subscribe on iTunes as well.
Subscribe on iTunes.
Don't forget that.
Leave comments, leave suggestions.
We're open for it.
Open, ready for any suggestions and comments that you may have. Just let us know. We'll continue to bring information about health and wellness. And just want to say thanks again for listening to us. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Adam Fernandez.
With the TWNRGY Podcast. Love you guys. Take care.
Take care. Love you.
Hey everybody. Welcome to the TWNRGY Podcast. My name's Aaron. And I'm Adam. And today we're just going to go over a couple of mental exercises / practices that we practice on a regular basis or when the situation presents itself, just so we can better ourselves or be more successful at whatever is put in front of us, whatever situation, whatever task that may be. So just to get started, do you want to start it off? Want me to start it off? Sure, I'll go ahead. One thing I learned from a professor in junior college, actually a music class that I was taking. Don't eat yellow snow? What's that? Don't eat yellow snow, yeah. He said, do something right the first time. Like, that's not generally something I think I'd learn in a music class. But, I mean, it's a great quote, just to make sure you kind of do something. The first time that I actually remember incorporating that into my life was I was living at my parents' house, and I was tossing a can in the recycling. And I missed the can or the basket, trash bag can thing that the can was going to go into, and it fell behind it, and I was all, I'll get to it later. But then I kind of thought to myself, I'm all, remember, I forget the professor's name, but I remember he said, do something right the first time. So I went, picked it up, put it where it belonged. So I dunked that can in there. Yeah, and then over the past 18 years, that's always stuck with me, just to do something right the first time, because it's not always easy. It's easy to just go, let somebody else do it. I'll get back to it. I'll get to it tomorrow, next day, a week later, a month, a year later. But, I mean, the opportunity is right there. But it's also easy to just finish what you're doing. get it done right the first time, and you don't have to go back to it the next day, year, whatever, later. Yeah, because I think of it as you're setting yourself in a path. Like, if you set yourself in the path where you leave it there, then you set yourself in a path to be lazy, complacent. But if you set yourself in the path to where, hey, I'm going to take care of it right now, you're more of a go-getter, and you get things done the first time around, like Adam said, and you'll be more successful long-term. Yeah, so I mean, just, if you're ever wavering, should I do this? Should I do it now? Should I do it later? Think to yourself, do it right the first time. And go, okay, while I'm here, it's fresh on my mind, I'll get it done. Because it's helped me many times throughout the years, and I even incorporated it the other day. Just forget exactly what I was doing, but I'm like, I'm going to do this right, get it done, and I won't have to come back to it. So
no time like the present.
Yeah. So that's my first item, and I'm going to talk about my second and final item now, is that so many times in life I've questioned a lot, why am I doing my master's program? Why am I working out? Why am I going on a bike ride? Just many different things, but sometimes it's hard to just find motivation to kind of get through something. Like, as I said, master's program, working out, whatever.
It's definitely daunting, especially the classes you're taking, their new subject matters, their tougher courses. It's different from your undergrad, and it's definitely something that it challenges you to where you get a little bit unmotivated. Like, why am I doing this exactly?
Yeah. And then, but one way that I focus and get through these things is by thinking of other people, whether they're in my life or just other people out there in the world that don't have the opportunity to do these things, but would have loved to have done it. And so I'm like, okay, kind of use that little extra motivation to get myself through these things. One example is when I was going through my master's program, I faced some adversity and challenges. It was hard. Like, the first semester getting a B-, I was put on academic probation.
Cost accounting is a tough course, man.
So I'm like, dang, this is rough. You get a B, and you're threatened of getting kicked out of a program, or a B-.
Spend all that money and that time and that effort. It's a big investment all the way down.
So what I did, I just thought of my little cousin Dakota, and I just knew how much he loved school. And I was like, okay, kind of get this done and finish these classes, all these other semesters, and get my diploma. And then, because the thing with him, like I said, little Dakota, he loved school, but he was never able to finish school because he passed away at a young age. And so I just kind of thought to myself that I'm going to do this for him because he never had the opportunity to do it, and he probably would have loved to have gone to school, high school, college, master's program. He would have loved to get a degree. So I just kind of used it to push myself, just in my mind, and then just kind of like in my mind as well. I just kind of dedicated it to him for being able to be that inspiration to push myself to finish something, my master's program. So he was definitely that person I thought of to get me over the hump. And then sometimes,
I'll say this real quick, Adam was my motivational factor in that first semester. Like Adam said, we got that B-. Like, halfway through that semester, I didn't want to finish the course. I told Adam, we had a lunch break or a dinner break because it was a night course, and I was just like, dude, what are we doing this for? I go, I'm happy I got my undergrad degree, we're working, we're doing our thing. Why do we need to continue this? This is tough. It's hard. Like, why do we need to challenge ourselves? We've already shown that we're capable of getting a degree. Why do we need to go and get another degree? I don't know. But Adam, he definitely motivated me by his motivation to want to succeed and get that degree.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother.
But yeah, so, and then just kind of another example of way I do it is that I think of other people to push myself and get something done. Is I'm not always in the mood to do a workout, go on a bike ride, do any kind of like physical activity sometimes. But then I just think of all the people out there in the world that don't have the physical capabilities to, like I said, work out, go on a bike ride, do whatever. And so I just think of them, and maybe some of those people really would love to do that, go on a bike ride. And then plus also, I never know when it's going to be my last opportunity to do something. So then I just think of these people, and I think about my future, and I'm like, I'm going to get it done. I got to work. Do it now, make it happen. Even as much as I don't want to do it, maybe in that moment, then the next day I'm thinking to myself, well, why didn't I do that? But think of these people out there that would love to do, ride a bike or whatever it may be, and I just focus and force myself to make it happen, and then I'm like, oh, I'm glad I did it. And it's just to all the people out there who are kind of just thinking, oh yeah, I don't know if I want to do this. I'll go next week, whatever the case. Think of somebody in your life or just somebody out there that you could push yourself to help get yourself with the motivation to do that activity or task and make it happen, rather than pushing it to the side and doing it later or just not doing it at all. Yeah, come on, people. Motivate yourself, and who knows, maybe by you doing what you do and you're getting inspiration from somebody, you might be giving inspiration to a third party. Mm-hmm. So we're all connected, and we all motivate one another in various ways. So stay motivated, stay active. I'm gonna push it over to Aaron, and he's talking about his topics. All right, thank you, brother. First topic I just wanted to discuss was the ability for myself. Over the last couple of years, I've made it a point to, I wouldn't say eradicate, but eliminate the words can't and never out of my everyday vocabulary. Sometimes, obviously, we say, oh, this never ending story, can't hardly wait. When I'm discussing movies, that's a whole other topic. When I'm discussing myself, I typically try to eliminate those words from my vocabulary. Because a lot of the times, all of us are guilty of it, me included, this guy included as well, but we'll sell ourselves short. Like, oh man, I can't lose weight, I can't do that exercise, or I'll never be able to fit into that dress. Not that I wear a dress, but that clothing item, or I'll never be able to get a better job, I'll never be able to finish school. But you don't know what you are capable of until you attempt it. Like, why can't you get a better job? You can go to school, you can go to night school, you can apply somewhere else. You can work harder, you can show your employer that you're a hard worker. So I don't see why you can't. You're already selling yourself short because you do not want to challenge yourself. That's how I see it as. But for me, it's been so beneficial because, not like I said, there's times where maybe I do sell myself short in the past, but like I try to make it a point where I don't. But people just like a cop-out. So, and the way that taking can't and never has benefited me, it's helped me in two avenues, whether it's been my diet and also my physical capabilities. For me, when it comes to diet, it's helped me to not, what I've done recently over the last couple of years is incorporate intermittent fasting into my diet regime. I wouldn't say it's a diet, but just a way of eating and controlling yourself. Because in the past, what intermittent fasting is basically going 12 hours or more in between your last meal and your first meal the next day. The only time I had done that in the past was when I was giving blood work, or giving blood or doing blood work. You have to fast for about 12 hours. And I always thought it was such a daunting task. I'm like, oh man, it was typically when I wake up, one of the first things I'll do is eat breakfast, at least back in the past. And when you gotta get blood, you gotta wake up, you gotta, depending on what time your appointment is, you have to drive to the hospital, you have to wait in the waiting room, and then wait in the room, get weighed, get your blood, do everything that entailed with getting your blood work done. And for me, it's like, all right, then after I've given my blood work, now I gotta drive somewhere if I didn't bring something to eat directly after I finish. So it just becomes a tough task to achieve. But over the last couple of years, I've gone from either 12 hours to like 20 hours or so in between my last meal to the first meal. It's beneficial in so many ways. If you haven't already, take a look at our podcast about intermittent fasting. It has so many benefits for men and women, and just like your overall discipline in general. But yeah, I just didn't want to sell myself short saying I can't go 12 hours, I can't go 20 hours. And every once in a while, on occasion, I'll go 24 hours, but that's on rare occasions. But also, for me, I've also not limited myself to what I can or will eat. When it comes to going to the grocery store, when it's buying vegetables, I'll try something new, just in case something is missing off the shelves, or in the frozen, or
sold out,
if it's out of expired, all the sauces are expired, whatever the case may be. I'll open up my options. This way I have other options if I do encounter something that isn't available. So not saying I won't eat this, I can't eat this, I'll never eat this. Always keep your options open. But also when it comes to physical abilities, I never sell myself short in what I will attempt to do or what I'm capable of doing. So that's why I'm always open to doing various exercises, especially over the last year or so, that I never really had encompassed in my workout regime and incorporated, whether it's high intensity interval training, going on hikes more regularly, running, biking, swimming, just doing so many various things, yoga, playing catch again. I haven't done that in years.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been fun. So
It's been a minute.
Yep, been quite a while, especially when the baseball season wasn't going on. It was the only way to get a baseball fix. But always keeping our options open, whether it's diet, whether it's exercise. This way you're continually challenging yourself. And one thing that I think that people don't like to challenge themselves is because they are afraid of failure. And failure, it can be someone's enemy, but it also can be your biggest motivating factor, because failure can motivate you to not fail again. Like,
it could be a crappy feeling. You don't want to go through it again.
Yeah. So you're like saying, man, I don't want to be embarrassed and not finish or not be successful, so I'm going to work hard, and this way failure will be in my rearview mirror and I won't encounter it again. But hypothetically, don't sell yourself short. Maybe you know that you will fail at something, but you don't know for certain until you attempt it. But that failure can be a motivating factor, maybe not to succeed at this particular task, but to succeed at another task. It'll motivate you to try something new, to attempt a new goal, to attempt a new task. And you might find out that you're successful at something else that you've been afraid to attempt in the past. But don't be afraid. Don't sell yourself short. Don't say you'll never be able to do this or that you can't do that, especially if you haven't done it. Just be the dictator of your capabilities and see what you can do to be a successful individual. So, I just don't like to sell myself short. I've done it in the past, and I've learned that when you become your personal cheerleader, that you do become more successful at whatever you attempt. But that's me, and we're all different. But have confidence in yourself and your capabilities. The other thing that I typically do, that's kind of a mental exercise, is for me to visualize situations. One way that I incorporate visualization, or I have in the past, is in our master's program, it was like a college presentation. Also in my professional life, when I'm making a presentation to a client, well, what I'll do is I'll visualize myself doing everything from A to Z to make a successful presentation. Also, I'll visualize myself doing the preparation, finding the proper resources to incorporate throughout the presentation, what I need to wear, where I need to drive, and how I'm going to engage my audience.
And go through those steps ahead of time. That way, when it comes to actually doing the task, you're already prepared for it in your mind. You're like, oh yeah, I remember this part. This is when I'm going to say this. This is when I'm going to have this great speech and everybody's going to love it and blah, blah, blah. Whatever
it may be. Then I visualize myself engaging the individuals and having them be enthralled by what I'm saying. Not that they're always going to be, but just engaging them. And then I see myself getting that sell or getting or getting an A+ on an exam. Like Adam says, it makes, so when the task at hand comes about in your life, it's almost as though you've already experienced it, and it relinquishes some of the stress that you experience typically, and it allows you to be more relaxed. But I'll say this, you're not always going to make that sell, you're not always going to get that A+ in whatever you're attempting. And it's happened to me. Like, I made a presentation, didn't get the sell. I made the presentation, I didn't get the A+ that I was seeking to get. But at the end of the day, it helps me to be more prepared. It's just another tool in my toolbox or ammo in my arsenal to make sure that whatever I attempt, if I'm not successful, I'm definitely going to do great at what I'm going to do, and I might even be more successful than I anticipated. And I know you can't prepare or plan or take into account everything that happens in your life, but you can prepare. You can take the proper steps to create a mental game plan. Also, what'll happen is that even though you're trying to control things, you're not always going to control things, but the overwhelming idea is that you're more optimistic. You're more positive, because when you're optimistic, you anticipate things going properly. They may or may not, because there might be, if you're doing a presentation, someone might heckle you, someone might throw you off by asking an oddball question, but visualize that negativity. Visualize that someone's going to throw you off. Someone's going to throw you a curveball question, but also visualize that you're going to be successful in your answer to that question.
You have a proper response to whatever may come up.
Yeah, and you're not going to know what that question is. You're not going to know what that response is, but you know that you're going to have a positive response. You're going to have something that's going to be advantageous to your cause, and have an internal smile throughout it. This way that you're feeling positive. So what you're feeling internally will maybe be reflected externally to the person you're presenting to. But at the end of the day, just visualize yourself being successful at whatever you do. Because I remember there was this one study I had read about in one of the books that Adam had read, and it was individuals that had hip surgery. They were given a pamphlet that said all the different tasks they needed to do to have a successful recovery from the hip surgery. And then at the end of that little pamphlet, there was an empty page telling them, all right, visualize what you are going to do.
Give yourself a game plan, pretty much.
Yes, for you to, not just what we've provided you, you provide us what you're going to do once you get home, the moment you get out of that car, to make sure that your recovery is 100%. And the individuals that actually had a game plan and wrote it down, created one in their head, were, I forget the percentages, but they were more than 50% more successful in recovering from that hip surgery than the individuals who didn't take the time to read or write down anything. Maybe they read it, but they didn't write down a game plan, a personal game plan. So those people who didn't write something down essentially set themselves up for failure. And those who did decide to write something down, create like a mental checklist, a mental game plan, were more successful because they had already envisioned the steps that they were going to take to be successful. And they, at the end of the day, they went through those steps and they were successful. So visualization can be a great tool and ammo for your arsenal, whatever you're trying to succeed at.
See yourself doing what you want to do, the task, job, asking somebody out. See yourself doing it, and it'll happen, hopefully for the better, but that way you're more prepared and it's more likely for something positive to come out of your preparation.
I agree. And the one thing I have more so visualized as of over recently within the months is just visualizing that everybody will be better to one another. They'll be nicer, they'll be more helpful. And I think we're all one in essence, and it's like a domino effect. So once one domino topples, the next one does. So try to be that domino of positivity. So when you topple and you hit the other one, it'll pass positivity to the next person. So I just try to envision that things are going to get better. People are going to be nicer to one another. And in turn, life in general will be more fulfilling and more enriching to a majority, if not all people in the world. But that's just one thing I like to visualize. So is there anything you like to visualize?
I don't. Specifically, I guess with work, maybe it's kind of visualization a bit and just setting a goal. Like every single time I have a project, as I'm starting it, in the proposal, I put the date that I want to finish it. So maybe it's
good idea.
4 days, 5 days from now, it'll be like November 7th. I plan on finishing this project. So I put it on there, just kind of a way for myself to push myself towards reaching that goal and attaining a completed project and turn it into my boss. This way, I hold myself accountable and give myself a little bit of motivation and see myself, okay, doing these different steps to reach that goal. And so that's kind of like my bit of visualization that I use for work.
Just another way that you can visualize yourself being successful at whatever task you want to achieve and excel at. But that was it for me. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
That was it. Just added it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. My name is Aaron.
And I'm Adam Fernandez.
With the TWNRGY Podcast.
Love y'all. Get after it and try to incorporate some of these tips into your life or make up your own and better yourself.
Love y'all. Thank you very much.
Bye.